right, guys, we're in the 2024 now Spyder RS. This is actually one of my personal vehicles. I realized I hadn't actually reviewed this particular car with an Oslo Blue, so I wanted to go ahead and do it today. We're in one of the absolute safest spots that I know to do a run out in a vehicle. No cars, no driveways, no deer, hopefully. So this is just the only spot I'm actually going to be able to rev out this car safely. So I wanted to go ahead and do so. In order to engage it, I've got it in PDK Sport. You put your foot on the brake, you put your foot on the gas, and then it basically just launches it for you once you take your foot off. You ready for this? So it's very simple. Put your foot on the brake. Is a Spyder RS launch. Very easy to do. It'll do it all day long. But yeah, it is one of the most visceral cars out there. It is such a great experience to drive this thing. I'm going to tell you everything you want to know about this car today, guys. If you're looking to buy one, I'm going to give you a cold start. I'm going to talk to you about the pros and the cons, the interior, the technology, the looks, the spec, everything. So I hope you guys enjoy this one. If you do, share it with a friend, like below. Appreciate you watching. Let's get into it. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Driven Productions. My name's Adam, and we're gonna start off with the Spyder RS here with a cold start. This car has not been on in, gosh, I don't know, 2 weeks at least. So let me get in the car and show you what she sounds like. Getting into a Porsche carbon bucket seat is always fun. Definitely something you have to get used to. So in order to start this particular vehicle, it's Le Mans style, which means it's on the left. Go ahead and turn the car on, is what I like to do, is give it just a second or two. Put your foot on the brake. I personally love the way this car sounds when it starts up. It almost sounds like it's gonna break. It's very, very organic. And yeah, just very visceral, sounds great. You know you're in something different, you know you're in something special with this particular engine. In order to put the car in gear, it's very simple. Just go ahead and put it in reverse here. You'll have your backup camera start. Now she won't go anywhere because it's a dual clutch. She won't go anywhere unless you give it gas. So there is a little bit of on-off when you're going slow. Like you literally feel the transmission engage when you go ahead and give it fuel. And it takes about a second or two sometimes, depending on how ginger you are with the throttle. So that's just something you got to get used to. It's very nice though when you're at stoplights because you don't have to worry about keeping your foot on the brake unless you're on a hill, which surprisingly is a nice feature. One of the reasons why I love electric cars too, mind you. Real quick, if you're new to my channel, we've been making enthusiast content since 2017. I would love for you guys to subscribe. We've got hundreds of reviews just like this, point of view drives on country roads as safe as we possibly can be. Now let me get into the spec on this particular car. So this is a Visoc package car. This is gonna go ahead and lighten up this vehicle quite a bit. This thing is probably 3,100 pounds, maybe even slightly lower than that as she sits. Very light car, very small car, very flickable car. So one of the things I most like about this car versus a 992 Porsche 911, which has gotten bigger and heavier. This car feels like an old school car. Now the Visoc package, if you don't know, gives this carbon fiber here. Now this is actually an upgrade. So that is a window trim in carbon fiber, but this is in carbon fiber with the Visoc package. This is in carbon fiber. This is in carbon fiber right here. This is in carbon fiber. You also have a carbon fiber little lip accent here. And then the other thing that sometimes is in carbon fiber is going to be up front here, but this particular package is painted with beautiful paint to sample Oslo Blue. Now, if you're not familiar with Oslo Blue, this is one of my favorite Porsche colors. In fact, it's kind of just one of my favorite colors in the car game. I love it so much. There's no metallic flake, so it's just essentially a flat color, but it does tend to color change. As you can see me walking around the car here, It goes from kind of a slightly baby blue to kind of a little bit of a darker blue at night. It definitely looks blue, but it has a really cool, darker tone to it. As you can see it in the shade here, it looks different. Just love the color, guys. Now, paint to sample has gotten ridiculously expensive in 2026. Porsche just keeps raising the prices, but this particular color, I believe, was $12,000 or $14,000. I'll check the window sticker. So still an expensive option. And if you guys have ever tried to get an RS or Rennsport product, getting one in paint to sample is very difficult. You're looking at about 10% of the overall allocations are going to be dedicated to paint to sample cars. I unfortunately was not able to get a paint to sample from my Porsche dealer in Nashville. I just didn't have the buying history. So I ended up getting a regular Spyder RS in vanadium gray. I'll put a little video clip of it here. And that car was sold to eventually get this car from another local owner here in Nashville, who's still a good friend of mine today, John Schapp. Really appreciate you selling me the car, John. He just wanted to get into another 911 touring, and the rest is history, right? But for me, this car is perfect. Now, outside of the Weissach package, and one other point, guys, is when you get the Weissach package, you do get this in the stitching here, and then everything in the interior is Alcantara. So, if you like Alcantara, I personally prefer leather, but the Alcantara is cool, especially when you hire your detailer to stripe it like I have. Kind of gives it a fun little effect. But personally, I'm a leather guy. I think Alcantara is kind of a ripoff, but it is what it is. So, the only other thing that this car has that's an upgrade, I say the only other thing, there's a few other things. So you've got your Porsche carbon ceramic brakes, you've got your front lift. You do definitely need to spec your car with front lift. Now, PCCBs, Porsche carbon ceramic brakes, look, guys, very little brake dust, very bitey. If you're not going to be going to the track, honestly, if you're going to be going to the track a lot, don't even get PCCBs, because if you burn those brakes out, they're going to cost you 30, 40 grand to replace. I highly recommend you go with this set of steels. But if you're an enthusiast and you just plan on driving on the street, if you like no brake dust, if you like the cool factor, they do rock. I mean, they're some of the world's best brakes. I personally love them because you just don't have any brake dust, or very little brake dust, unless you really do drive your car a lot. It gets a little bit, but nothing like steel. I mean, you clean your car and drive your car with steel brakes one time, all of your wheels are dirty, guys. It just is what it is. Now, coming on to the inside, a couple of other upgrades here. You've got this in yellow, these seat belts. That right there is, of course, a cost upgrade with Porsche. You've also got the upgraded Bose sound system in here. You've got the illuminated door sills, as you can see here. I mean, this thing pretty much has it all. It even has the Alcantara stitching up here for your mirrors. Again, they charge you for that. Otherwise, that would just be like a plasticky material. Again, you've got the window triangles like I already mentioned. You've got the door pulls here in yellow. I think that's a small upgrade as well. It doesn't necessarily have any upgraded deviated stitching. The carbon fiber comes standard. So, it does have the chrono package. You definitely need to get chrono package. My last car had the dials in white. This one just has the standard gray, which I actually think goes with the spec really, really well. So overall, a very well spec car. I just love the blue and yellow. Now, it does have the aluminum wheels as well. Those are the aluminum silver wheels. I personally love them. They've really grown on me. Initially, I was thinking I was going to change it and make it more of the satin neodyme gold, which is a really cool color. I'll go ahead and put like a little rendering of what it could look like. But this looks so good, guys, and this car just gets so much love. Now, John did go ahead and PPF the entire car. If you don't know what PPF is, it's paint protection film. So the guy did a phenomenal job. You can barely see the PPF on here. You really have to look closely. So every area of this car is covered, and so you can drive it on the street, drive it on the track if you want, not get it beaten up, which is really nice. Now let me tell you a little bit about why I like the car now that I've covered the spec. Guys, the number one thing about this car is the engine. It is so viscerally loud in this particular car. It's louder in this car than it is in the GT3 RS. It's just because of the placement of the air intakes. So if you don't know, the air intakes on this car are right here, okay? They're right behind your head. And so they're just crazy loud amounts of just air just going right through your eardrums, along with a very nice mechanical engine sound plus a nice exhaust tone. So it really makes for a fun driving experience. Go ahead and take a listen right now. I mean, tell me that that is not the most organic and incredible enthusiast sound out there. I mean, it's right up there with the best. I mean, just listen to it. It sounds so good. I'm just taking it easy, guys, but wanted to give you a little taste of it, right? All right, guys, tell me that's not the best sounding car you've ever heard. I mean, it's truly wonderful. I've got a 458 Ferrari in the garage right now, and I'll tell you, this car in a lot of ways to me sounds even better than the 4.5 liter with a Rift exhaust. Don't get me wrong, it's not as loud, not necessarily as tony as the 4.5 liter from the Ferrari, but it's just incredible. Now, the next thing that I wanted to go over with you is the practicality of this car. So unlike my new Corvette, which has the whole front trunk as a ZR1 hood scoop basically, this has a practical trunk that I just love it, guys. And here, I want to go ahead and show you. This whole thing is in carbon fiber, as you can see. It's just painted carbon fiber on the top. But guys, this is such a great amount of usable space. And also on the Cayman platform, you have the ability to pop the rear as well. And if you've never seen that, this is a really cool piece. Unfortunately, it's a little difficult to do with one hand. I'll see if I can do it. You can use the key here and pop it, which is probably gonna also make sure I have to reset my car, which is one of the negatives I'm gonna tell you about. You can do it with one hand. Isn't that neat? So the whole thing pops up, and then you have additional space back here. Look at the amount of space you get back here, guys. So you can put a lot of stuff in this car. It actually makes it a practical rally car, believe it or not. Your fabric hood, which I know we're gonna talk about that as one of the negatives. It could also be a positive, but it's one of the negatives I'd say overall. I would have paid personally and had a little bit more weight for a mechanical one like the old Boxster has. But this right here is everything stored away, so you still have all of the usable practical space. And even when you're storing the additional piece right back here, as you can see, it's all tucked in there. You don't have to worry about it, and I really like that. So again, a lot of usable storage in this car. So if you want to go on a rally, if you want to take your wife and take a nice road trip, you've got multiple places to put this. Unlike the new 3RS, unlike some of the new cars, like frankly the ZR1, you just don't have any space. Now, I will tell you, coming on to the interior of this particular car, you've got a very old school interior. So it's a combination of things I love and things maybe I don't love. There is some nice things that you get in modern cars, but this car is very analog. And what I mean by that is a few things. So let me go ahead and sit in the car. But really, before I sit in the car, I want to talk to you about these right here. Guys, these are the Porsche carbon bucket seats. These are an upgrade, mind you. And not a cheap upgrade, although these seats can go $15,000, $20,000 aftermarket, believe it or not. It's one piece of carbon fiber. The only thing that you can adjust is right here. They do go up and they do go down. Outside of that, they're not adjustable. So it's just one of those things that, if you don't get a Rennsport product, the 3RS, the RS products, etc., these are, you're gonna lose a little bit of resale value. So that is a fact. They are amazing seats. They're actually fairly comfortable, although I will say the new 992 carbon bucket seats that fold are a little tighter here and they're tight down here. So I will tell you, I wouldn't recommend those seats. I couldn't even fit in them. These older style seats are just comfortable enough for me to stand them. But I'll tell you what, if I was gonna be in this car, daily driving it, taking long road trips, I would not get the carbon bucket seats. I'm sorry. I would all day get the 18 ways because you've got lumbar support, you've got hip support. They're plenty sporty. Grant you, if you want to go ahead and get your racing harnesses, the 18 ways are going to be a little tricky for that. If you want if you really want to track it, guys, you want to put a bar in here and everything, then you got to go with these. But most guys aren't tracking, $200,000+ cars, and so most guys are driving them on the street. I would really encourage you to get the 18 ways and screw what the market says, as far as resale value. And by the way, when I'm talking upgrades, the Porsche Crest here, that's another example of a costly upgrade from Porsche. So now that I'm in the interior of the car, guys, again, it's old school in the sense that you have a key. You have a key that you have to insert here. You saw that on my cold start. Most modern Porsches, you keep your key in your pocket, and you have like a little piece here. And now they've actually gone to a push start button. So pros and cons, if you like the fact of inserting a key and having more of a connection with the vehicle, it's cool, right? Another thing I love, you have an actual, you know, something to grab here, and you could even shift here. And frankly, I shift here more than anything, very much up and down, somewhat similar to a sequential manual. You've got all of your physical buttons here, right? You've got your smoking package here. It's just, everything is a button in this car, right? You do have CarPlay, but you've got to plug it in unless you go ahead and buy an adapter. So you've got to get your CarPlay right here, right? And then you can plug it in, which I do every time I get in the car. You've got your physical cup holders here. You've got 2 of them. One there and one here. So again, very practical if you're gonna, you know, go to the store, you wanna grab some drinks. I will say though, when this particular one is out and you put something cold here, it does tend to drip right here, a little condensation I've noticed. So that's kind of fun. So again, if you got something cold, I'd go ahead and put it on that far right one. You've got your sport chrono here, but again, old school, right? You've got your 3 gauges, but you've got analog, old school looking gauge cluster. Love that personally. The other thing that's kind of odd is you've got a fabric door pull here. Again, it's kind of an RS thing, but you know, some people are like, how do you get out? You know, it's just not intuitive for normal people, not enthusiasts, of course. You do have a little fabric mesh here. All this is an Alcantara. You have your extra storage here, but overall, it's pretty Spartan in here, you know, and I really like that. You know, there's no buttons on the steering wheel. You have your cruise control down here. You have your menu toggle here. You have your windshield wipers here and your paddles here. But outside of that, guys, there's really nothing to this interior as far as like anything special. You know, the new 992s, especially on the 911, they have wonderful tactile buttons and everything's a screen. And so if you like that, then cool. But if you like more of an old school cockpit, something that's just kind of resonates from the 80s, 90s, 2000 era, this right here is a 10-year-old now design. You know, Porsche spent time and effort upgrading the engine in this last generation of the Cayman platform, but not the interior. So it's still very old school. I personally love it though. I think it's going to age like fine wine. I think this car is actually going to be cooler from the interior perspective, whereas most modern cars, they're really just going to age fast because everything's a screen. And as you guys know, with screen technology, you know, 2-3 years down the road, your iPad, nobody cares, right? There's a new generation, there's 3 new generations, etc. All right, guys, let's go for a drive in the Spyder RS, shall we? And I've got to go ahead and get fuel as well. I just want to start off here. I'm going to put it in automatic mode just for you guys to get the vibe. It's a very easy car to drive. Just because it's a Rennsport product doesn't mean that you have to be going 10-10 to enjoy this product. It's really comfortable when you're in the carbon bucket seat, you know, and the transmission lugs really well. Even if you put it in PDK Sport, it's still comfortable to drive. I wish this car had a manual, I won't lie. I would say that, you know, it would definitely enhance the experience, but the PDK transmission, if you've never driven a Porsche, is truly world class. It is such a great transmission. There's really no better transmission in the entire automotive sport car game. And I've reviewed everything. You know, it's a dual clutch, so it won't go anywhere unless you go ahead and give it fuel. But once you do, it just never cuts power when you're going, you know, and shifting. So it almost makes it feel like an electric vehicle from that perspective. So it gives you a tremendous amount of confidence when you're going through turns, when you're on a track, etc. Just because of the fact that it never breaks power, and it's just so smooth, right? It's one of those things that you just have to experience. I can't tell you what it's like to drive. Like, as you go through these gears, you know, we're doing 23 miles an hour, 24 miles an hour, and it's in 4th gear. And if I go just a little bit faster, it's in 5th gear, right? So you get pretty good fuel economy at that point as well. And it's just easy to daily. Now, this car, even with the exhaust opened up, it's quiet. It only really gets loud and, you know, around 4,000 RPMs as you're about to hear. And then after that, it's just another level of complete ridiculousness as far as the hearing goes. You know, if you've got young kids and you go ahead and rev this car out, they're probably going to have a little hearing damage. I'm not even kidding you. It's that loud. I've had people viscerally, I've had people grab their ears and cover them in this car. All right, guys, now we're gonna do like 5, maybe 610 on this car, right? Not going crazy, we're still on the street, but I want to give you a little taste of what this engine sounds like. I'm just taking it easy, guys, but wanted to give you a little taste of it, right? I mean, it just sounds so unbelievably good in this car. It's very, very loud, though. But you can't deny it's not an amazing experience. It makes me laugh every time I hear it, just because it's so motorsport. I mean, it's so motorsport. I mean, that is a race car engine. Literally comes out of the Cup car. And, you know, I've had guys put Soul exhaust and all kinds of upgrades on these things, and I personally don't feel like it has to be any louder than that. But if you do, it just keeps amplifying the experience. But I think from stock, which is what this car is, it sounds plenty spicy. I just don't know why you need more noise. I mean, listen to it. I mean, listen to that. I mean, that's just nuts. And you hear the intake and you hear everything. It sounds so good. I don't know about you guys, but I think this is one of the best, just most visceral and coolest sounding cars. The air intake, how they put that plenum right behind your eardrum, it's so good. It is absolutely so good, you know? So I just think that from, you know, what you buy a sports car for, this checks all the boxes. Open air, comfortable, sporty. And when I say comfortable, you know, the suspension in this particular car is quite a bit more dampened. It's 50% more dampened, right? Which means it's not quite as harsh as the 4 RS. And you really know that driving this car. I actually did track my last RS just once, just to bed the brakes in. And I will tell you, it did not really feel like a track car. So if you want to drive this car on the track, you absolutely can. But I would really encourage you guys to go ahead and buy the 4 RS if you want a track car. If you want something that is great on the street, like right now, this is the absolute best car for what I'm doing. It is 70 degrees right now. It is gorgeous out. I've got the top down. I mean, you really just can't beat it. You can't beat it. From this perspective, you absolutely cannot beat the open top experience. I love it. Just getting some gas for her, guys, which if you didn't know, the gas tank in this car is up front to the right, similar to a 911, mind you. And look at fuel prices right now, $5.20. That's crazy. This is because the Iranian war, right? Wow, look at all that gas just going all over my car. See, that's just awesome. You can't win these days, right? So, yeah, hopefully this war wraps up soon if Trump can get them to agree to what he wants, and we can go back to, I don't know, $350 for premium. I'll tell you guys, one of the negatives of driving this car is actually the gearing. So let's say you're coming onto the highway here and you really want to enjoy the car, right? So you really can't rev it out very often. Like, I mean, there you go. Like, you rev out second and you rev out third, and then you're already going so fast. My point is that you can only enjoy this car on the track if you really want to bounce it off the rev limiter all the time. So when I drive the car, I only usually end up revving second and maybe third like I just did to get on the highway, and then after that I'm just in top gear and I'm enjoying it. Now when you're on the street and you're on a back road, you can enjoy 4, 5, 6, 7 all day long, but you just really never get to 7, 8, 9. 7, 8, 9 just makes it so fast. And as you can hear, we're on the highway and it's loud, but it's not uncomfortable to be in this car. The way they design the aerodynamics, it's just enjoyable. Like, you feel the air and it feels great. I mean, this car is such a fun car to just enjoy on the street. It's such a great experience. I mean, you feel the wind on your arms, you feel it on your hair. It's not like hitting you in uncomfortable spots though. And from that perspective, I just love it. I mean, I'm a huge convertible fan. On a day like today where it's absolutely perfect weather, you know, it's just the best thing in the world to have, right? You know, who doesn't like having their top down in their sports car and just feeling the vibes? Now, cruise control is really easy in this car. You hit this button down here on the left, and you can see that little icon right there pops up, and then you just basically hit it back. And then if you want to increase speed, you just go back or forwards. So back is increased speed, up is decreased speed. It doesn't have Distronic cruise, right? It doesn't slow you down in the lane. That would be a nice feature for the amount of money they charge. You would think they'd have that. So again, it's more old school nature, right? As I've mentioned, you saw that bump right there. Now, if we were in a 4RS, I'm telling you guys, that bump, very uncomfortable. This car, not a big deal. Now, you do have the ability to increase PDK Sport, so you can make the suspension much more stiff. But I'll tell you guys, you don't need it or need to. This thing is just perfect, I think, for the street out of the box. I think I've hit the PDK suspension sport maybe a handful of times since I've owned this car. You just don't need to. Now, one other thing I want to mention is you can shift with this, guys, and I absolutely love that about this car. Unlike the new 992 GTS, where you only can shift with these, this right here is my favorite thing to interact with in the car. I love using the middle to shift my own gears. It just makes it a lot of fun. It kind of gives me those manual vibes that I love as an enthusiast. But yet, I get all of the visceral nature, you know. As you can see though, I mean, this car is so fast, it's like, where do you use it on the street? I mean, that's literally a quarter throttle, half throttle, and then the car pulls out in front of you, you know? So it's just one of those vehicles that it's a lot of performance. You know, the problem with modern cars is that, you know, it's got 500 horsepower and it weighs 3,000 pounds. So it's one of those things, it's a lot of performance. But having said that, do I love the car? 100%. It is one of the all-time greatest sports cars. It is an incredible driver's car. I highly recommend, if you can afford this car, to pick one up. I think these are going to be very cool and very collectible in the future. And they are a 10 out of 10 in my book, guys. A complete 10 out of 10. I really don't think you can go wrong. Well, guys, I appreciate you watching. Hope you learned something and you got some education about the Spyder RS here. And I just think this is one of the best cars that Porsche's ever made. It's an incredible driver's car. It just does everything really, really well. And I love it. What can I say? I think it's, if I had to sell every other car, I think I'm keeping this one. I gotta be honest. I love it. This is the car that if I could only choose one car in my collection, you know, this is it. This is the one I'm taking right here. It gets no hate. You know, it never had anybody tell me, oh man, you know, what do you do? It doesn't, like, people don't come up to you like they do with the Lamborghinis and the Ferraris, right? So for me, that's more preferred. You know, I'm not always trying to tell people my life story. And I just love the fact that it's just a great driver's car. You know, it's given me no issues now. I've done, you know, over 4,000 miles on a Spyder RS with 0 issues. Now, I will tell you one thing, I forgot to mention it, and that is these sometimes can be a pain. So every once in a while, a message will come up. And by the way, these aren't the original ones, but these are really easy to switch out. Those are, the original ones are red, but I thought this matched the spec better. But every once in a while, a message will come up basically saying you need to secure the top. And it's annoying because you have to pull this one, and then you have to push, you have to launch this whole thing up, and then you have to push this down and then click this and click that. Then you have to turn the car off, get out, close the door. So it's a full reset cycle. And I learned that the hard way. What I mean by I learned that the hard way is one day me and a friend were driving the car and the message came up once we turned it on after we were leaving lunch or something, and I could not get the damn thing to go off. And if that message comes on, it's not just like you can click the little button and then it'll go away. No. It literally will stay in that right-hand corner the whole time and say, secure roof, secure roof, secure roof. And it won't beep or anything, but it's very annoying. And so I kept going through the cycle. I would start with this, then I would pop these two, and I just couldn't figure it out. I even called my Porsche advisor and my sales guy eventually after about 20 minutes of going through literally every combination we could. And finally they were like, well, we're not really sure why it's not working. We'll call you back. Pierre says you have to get out of the car and lock it. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. He's like, yeah. So when you go through the cycle, so basically you go pop, 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 then you just push that down, click, click. You have to then get back in the car, pull the key, get out, lock it. That resets it. If you do not get out and lock it, it will not reset that light or that sensor. So stupid, I know, but that's the only quirk. Now, how many times does that come up on this car? I'd say realistically about 6 times. So it's about 1 out of every maybe 10 times I drive the car that message pops up. There's really no rhyme or reason to why it pops up. It's not like I was putting groceries in the back or anything, or a kid might have pulled my tabs, nothing like that. It's completely random. It's just a weird sensor. It's a quirk with this car. Other than that, though, there's been absolutely no issues with the infotainment, other than the fact that it's a little annoying. You have to plug it in, but I can get over that. There's been no issues with the engine, the brakes, the suspension. I've had no issues. Now, these tires are not the Cup 2s that it did come with. These are PS4s. I highly recommend you get PS4 tires. They're a lot more streetable. If you do get caught in the rain, you're going to be a lot more safe with PS4 tires. You can also drive them a bit more in the wintertime. Wouldn't recommend going out below 30 degrees, but from 30 to 45, you can definitely be a lot more safe. Whereas with a Cup 2, you really want to be above 40, 45 degrees. And really they say above 50, but I think you can push it to maybe 40, 45 and still be okay. It's going to be a little ice skating, but not too bad. But these PS4s are some of the best tires I think they make for Michelin anyway. So yeah, absolutely love it, guys. Hope you enjoyed the content. Feel free to subscribe, and we appreciate you checking out the channel. We got about 13,000 subs, 4.5 million views, and with your help, we're going to finally get to 100,000 subscribers, and hopefully content like this helps. We'll talk to you later.